What's up? It's your boy K Steel, aka Creative Ambition, and today is Testimony Tuesdays. I think I'm gonna start doing this because I get to talk to a lot of different people about where they've gone or where they've come from. And I also like to share my testimonies because I come from whatever background I come from. And I just love to share because some people really truly need to be inspired to understand that their situation is very temporary. You know what I mean? Like you could be really asking God for some things, and I believe that He just shows up in these miraculous ways. So, without further ado, this one's gonna be kind of short, hopefully. But for my testimony Tuesday, ain't that long. I remember me and my cousin not too long ago. Me and my cousin was out of town. We was in Oakland, and we were driving around in Oakland, and I was showing him about this house where I almost died in when I was like age 5. The whole house caught on fire. And I remember just from memory, I haven't seen this house in years, but just from memory, I was able to describe the whole house, right? And we drove past the house and I pointed out the house. And the craziest thing is on the back part of the house, the window in the back had like, it still looked like it had flames, like the house had caught on fire again, or they just never painted it. But that was so many years ago, right? And so I was telling my cousin about that testimony of me getting out of the house fire. And that can be a whole nother testimony Tuesday. But we wanted to stop and get something to eat, which is down the street from that house. So we driving through Oakland. We stop by the house and then we see Church's Chicken on the end. Now, when we got to Church's Chicken, there wasn't many people in there. So my cousin and I were grabbing something to eat. And by the time we get our food, there was another family, a little Asian family in there. And then all of a sudden, people just kind of start coming out of nowhere. The drive-thru stayed with a couple of people in it. And then one homeless person came in, then another. I was like, where's these people coming from, right? So one lady had, and this is not to be bragging about what we did for people, but there's a testimony in it. So a lady started, while we were eating our food, some lady comes in and she's digging through the garbage can. And we like, wait a minute. We take notice and was like, nah, hey, is there anything we can get you to eat? So we go ahead and get her something to eat, right? No problem. She's very grateful. She's over there tearing the chicken up. And then another young man who looked like he's about in his 20s, but we can tell he's having a hard time. You know what I mean? So we like, I got a little bit more money. Hey, check this out. Because he comes to us, he said, look, I don't want no money from y'all. I just want to know what's up. Can I get some chicken, bro? Like, what's up, man? And my cousin, after I talked to my cousin, we was like, yeah, sure, we got you. No problem, man. And we have enough to do some chicken, a whole meal or whatever. It's like, dude, get whatever you gonna get. And he was like, super grateful, excuse me. And he's like, what? Ooh, let me get a number of this and number of that, right? And he was like, no, I'm just playing, man. Just give me that 4-piece and we good. I said, cool. So we get him a whole meal and a drink. And one thing for certain, I began to talk to him about God. And so my cousin took a seat and just kind of let me minister to the young man. And one of the things that was pretty dope is my cousin ended up getting a call and he goes outside. And I started to talk to the young man and the tears are just coming out left and right. And he just like, man, I didn't know I was really carrying around this much baggage. His mom had died. His dad had died, drug overdose. Mom had died from something, a stroke or something. And he was going through this battle, man, of self-medicating. And after I started pointing certain things out that was going on, and I knew that wasn't nothing but God giving me that information, he said, he was looking at me strange, like, man, how do you know this about me? And I said, bro, we just talking. I said, if it's coming out of my mouth and it's registering with you, it's literally exactly what you're going through. And I don't know you from Adam, then you know God is real, man. God is trying to get your attention right now. And he was like, yeah. So he's crying, right? And some lady, her name was Brandy. And Brandy had the loveliest smile. I remember seeing her coming down the street, which is about a block away, the whole time I was talking to this young man. And she comes in the churches and she begins to listen. So she's ear hustling the whole time I'm talking to this young man. And she's just smiling. And then next thing you know, she comes over to me and him and says, hey, can I get some of this prayer? I said, yeah, sure, absolutely. She says, listen, I can't miss an opportunity to get some prayer in. I need it. And I said, okay, cool. So I began to pray with them, but I kept my eyes open. And as I'm praying with these two, this guy, I don't know if you guys seen The Passion of Christ and how the devil just came lurking when Christ was getting beat up, getting lashed and everything. This guy comes creeping in and his spirit was really, really off. And I asked him, I said, hey, brother, I said, you want some prayer? And he just kind of shook his head like nonchalantly, like, nah, I don't want no prayer, right? But Brandy and the young man wanted some prayer. And so Brandy just silently, tears just start kind of breaking out. And I began to pray with them. And it was awesome because after we were done praying, she just looked at me and smiled. She was like, everything that you were sharing is something that I'm dealing with right now. And so I was able to sow some seed into him and her. And they end up leaving, well, she ended up catching the bus. She like disappeared, right? I noticed she ran and jumped on the bus. The young man was just sitting there like, wow. I really needed this, man. I promise I'm gonna get back right with God, because he was like, I hear God's voice from time to time, but I kind of self-medicate because of all the pain I'm dealing with. And so we begin to go in these circles and talk about how to get rid of that kind of stuff and just start giving it over to God, right? And right after he was like, man, I appreciate, he just gave me the biggest hug, man, just crying. He said, man, I don't cry in front of nobody. I said, it's okay to cry. Even as a man, we're taught to suppress our feelings and our emotions, but it's okay to cry, bro. And so he hugs me and then he bounces out. And so the one guy that was lurking, right? He was standing there the whole time. He wouldn't engage, none of that. And so I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and get in the car. So I'm about to get in the car. My cousin, he was on the phone. We're about to pull off. And then the brother comes over to me and he's like, so what? You can't give me no chicken? I looked at him. I was like, nah, dude, I can't get you no chicken. I was like, hey, I just hooked them up. I'm kind of tapped at the moment. He was like, oh, so you can't give me a two? Like he felt so entitled and his spirit was so off. I was like, you know what, brother, you take care of yourself. And we end up driving off. But the feeling that we were able to sow seed, spiritual seed or encouragement to the young brother and the young lady that got on the bus was such a blessing to me. And so for that is my Testimony Tuesday. I try not to make it too long. If you got a testimony that's similar, or you just got a testimony you want to share, I know myself and other people in the comments would love to hear it. So share your testimony. Let me know what y'all think. It's K Steele, aka Creative Ambition, Testimony Tuesdays. Holla at your boy. Peace out.